Joining us at WATT News, giving you stories with high voltage. I'm Murryum Farooqi, and today we tackle the National Space Council, Snapchat, and guns in school. But first, we go to the United Nations. Former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said Wednesday the dialogue between the two Koreas that began during the Winter Olympics must be kept alive so it can hopefully lead to reconciliation, peace, and the denuclearization of North Korea. A potential high-level interaction between the U.S. and North Korea, which would have broken years of estrangement between the two countries, loomed prominently over the Winter Games, where North Korea, in a last-minute move, sent 22 athletes to compete on a combined team with South Korea, the host of the Games. On Tuesday, the Trump administration disclosed that Vice President Mike Pence was set to hold a history-making meeting with North Korean officials during the Olympics, but Kim Jong-un's government canceled at the last minute. Traveling west from North Korea to Mexico, where archaeologists exploring the world's biggest flooded cave in Mexico have discovered ancient human remains at least 9,000 years old, and the bones of animals who roamed the earth during the last ice age. The Yucatan Peninsula is studded with monumental relics of the Maya people, whose cities drew upon an extensive network of sinkholes linked to subterranean waters known as cenotes. Of the 200 archaeological sites they have discovered there, around 140 of them are Mayan. Now to our story in the land of the free and the home of the brave. In the USA, Snapchat has officially responded to a hugely popular Change.org petition calling for the company to walk back the recent redesign of Snapchat. The petition was signed by more than 1.2 million people, a milestone that perhaps prompted Snap leadership to draft a response. However, Snap essentially goes on in its reply to say tough luck, echoing comments made by CEO Evan Spiegel just last week. A big focus of the redesign was to make Snapchat more palatable to a wider audience, both geographically and with respect to age. Ultimately, though, it sounds like Snapchat is saying that its leadership thought long and hard about the redesign. However, they have no intention of reversing the shift. Continuing with news in the U.S., the National Space Council on Wednesday, headed by Vice President Mike Pence in Washington, announced a recommendation to consolidate space commerce responsibilities under the Commerce Department, while creating a sort of space czar. In a speech at the Kennedy Speech Center, Pence also announced a plan to streamline licensing requirements for rockets that launch and then return, which the industry has been pushing for. The moves are designed to streamline regulations and help boost the commercial space industry as it begins to show momentum. The Council's recommendations follow other wins for the industry, which for years has lobbied Congress to take the sort of hands-off approach that it said will allow it to flourish. Continuing with news in the red, white, and blue, we go to another story in Washington, where Trump suggests arming teachers as a solution to increase school safety. After listening to a series of emotional stories and pleas to enhance school safety at the White House Wednesday, Trump floated the idea of arming schools and staff, an idea that was met with support from many of its attendees. The comment came during a White House listening session marked by poignant testimony from students and parents affected by school shootings. Trump offered some solutions, calling for more mental institutions and hospitals in addition to the arming of teachers. Now for a segment called What's on Murryum's Mind, where I give you my opinions on the latest controversies. The following opinions are my own and do not represent WATT News or its affiliates. As a student, it is terrifying to think that teachers may be allowed to bring guns into school. By the time a teacher has taken a gun out of a cabinet, put bullets in it, unlocked it, and gotten it ready to shoot, there's no chance for any of their students to survive. Not only that, but teachers have enough responsibilities already. Defending students with weapons has no place whatsoever on that list. That concludes What's on Murryum's Mind. Now to our story in the Mid-State. A main water break led to a Flint Community Schools bus getting stuck Tuesday afternoon in Flint, Michigan, after it sunk into the roadway in a neighborhood on the city's north side. 15 students and a driver were pulled off the bus around 2:30 p.m. on February 28th near the intersection of Moore and Sterling Streets after the bus entered what the school district labeled a sinkhole. City workers were sent to the location late Wednesday morning to make repairs on the main break. No one was injured during the incident, and students were placed on another bus to get home. For your weather report, the highs are 41 degrees on Saturday and a low on 34 degrees on Saturday. I'm Murryum Farooqi, signing off.